Hello, this is Dr. Lorna Heilig coming to you once again. Today, I want to discuss with you 12 tips for reducing saturated fats in the diet. Now, what exactly are saturated fats? Saturated fats are typically fats from animal products. Exceptions are tropical oils, such as coconut and palm oil. Usually, saturated fats are solid at room temperature, and in the chemical structure, the carbons contained in the fatty acid chain, they are saturated with hydrogens, hence the name saturated fatty acids. Food sources of these saturated fatty acids include meats, dairy products, pastries, cakes, fried foods, cream soups and casseroles, coconut and palm oils, and a variety of fast foods that are on the market. Now, why even discuss saturated fats? What are the health implications? Saturated fats are known to elevate LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, which in turn increase the risks for developing heart disease and stroke. High-fat foods that are rich in saturated fats also contribute to excessive calories and weight gain, which center of development of many of the chronic diseases and conditions. High saturated fat intake is also associated with increase in apolipoprotein B or ApoB, which is a major component of LDL and a predictor of heart disease risks. Findings from some research studies have also suggested that high saturated fat intake may actually trigger inflammation in the body, which again is associated with increased risks of coronary heart disease. Now then, what are the recommendations? What are some tips for reducing saturated fats in the diet? The necessary first steps to a healthy, low-fat cooking environment involves, first of all, stocking up on healthy low-fat foods which are readily available for preparation of healthy meals. So that's number one. Secondly, include beneficial fats, which are unsaturated fats, monounsaturated, and some polyunsaturated fatty acids, including things like avocados, olive oil, avocado oil, legumes, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish, such as salmon. Be creative. Utilize a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables, adding them to green leafy salads, homemade soups, and casseroles. Experiment with peas and beans, which are good sources of protein. And these can also sometimes be used as replacement for meat. Peas and beans can also be used in soups, vegetarian chili, and within or over a variety of rice dishes. So experiment with these as much as possible. Great sources of protein. Use reduced fat and or fat-free dairy products if you are using dairy. Otherwise, you can substitute non-dairy alternatives, such as almond milk. Uh, Try to get the unsweetened type. One concept is to consider meat as a side dish, whereas foods like vegetables, beans, legumes can become the focus of the main course. So that's really kind of reframing uh, your thinking to think of meats as the side and the plant-based proteins as the focus of the meal. Um, when that is learned, it could be an excellent way to begin eating. When meats are used, always select lean cuts of meat and remove all the visible fat prior to cooking. Remove the skin from poultry always before eating to reduce the fat content of the meal. Omit or exclude as much as possible processed meat components such as sausages, hot dogs, and salami. Either totally omit them, exclude them, or reduce consumption as much as you can. I really don't recommend those. These items are usually still relatively high in calories and saturated fat, even when they are labeled reduced fat. In addition to removal of visible fats from the meats and other animal products, it is advisable to utilize low-fat cooking methods. These would include things like baking, broiling, roasting, steaming, poaching, grilling. Omit or refrain from frying as much as possible. And if you must, you can quickly saute, say, vegetables, etc., in a pan. Always be sure to read your nutrition labels carefully and choose the best products after carefully comparing saturated fat content. Making low-fat ingredient substitutions to favorite recipes also facilitates lowering saturated fat and calories. This can be done by increasing vegetables, fruit, and fiber, using reduced fat options, and reducing portions of fat or oils required in some recipes. Now, most people actually are enticed by fat because of the flavor and aroma that it confers. However, healthier substitutions may result in some loss of this flavor and moisture that we look forward to. So depending on what is required in your recipes, healthy alternatives would include addition of non-fat milk, fruit juice, broth, and a variety of herbs and spices to improve the flavor and add some texture. Dried fruit and applesauce or other pureed or chopped fruit may be added to improve moisture in some reduced fat recipes. Last but not least, for a creamy texture, a low-fat plain yogurt or Greek yogurt can be used to substitute for items such as sour cream or whipped cream that some persons dress their potato or salads or whatever recipes that you use that uh, call for these items. So these can also be substituted adequately. For more tips regarding saturated fat and how to reduce them and inclusion of healthy fats in the diet, I can be reached at my blog at https://www.letstalkhealth and Nutrition with drh.com. I look forward to continuing the conversation. See you soon.